Good afternoon, boys and girls from East Elementary. Long time no see. Julie Kelly here from the North Alabama Agriplex. We wanted to come today and do a quick little video tour of your outdoor classroom. I don't know if you're allowed to come out here or not, but hopefully you will soon if you're not now. And we want to just kind of show you what's going on out here if you haven't already seen, and kind of introduce you to what it is. Usually in September when we're out here with you guys, we always start going over each station so you kind of get a refresher. Or if you're new and in second grade, you get to learn all about it for the first time, and it's really cool. Now, if you were lucky enough to go to the primary school last year, they had their very own outdoor classroom, and it's a different one. It's in the shade. It's in the forested area close to the school. Really different, but also very cool. But this one is very different. It's also new, and every time you come out here, we do a different lesson, but the first one's always just kind of a refresher on each garden station or learning station. I'm going to back up just a little bit because I want you to know that your school partnered with the Alabama Wildlife Federation to design all your gardens and your pathways and what you wanted, and that's why it's here. It's here because it's beautiful, but it's also here because everything out here has a purpose and a curriculum that can teach you a lesson at it in a fun way, a nice hands-on activity, and I really like that. So you've got lots of different learning stations here to get started with, and we will go from there. Okay, boys and girls, these are two of the first stations we always cover because you can see behind me, you always come in through that gate. We usually line you up at the gate, we tell you what we're going to do that day, and we'll split you up into groups. And usually one group will be doing an activity under pavilion while the others are doing something up top. So the first thing we're going to learn today about these two stations, if you notice, they're the exact same shape. They both have plants, beautiful plants, all perennial plants, which means they come back every year. Now some may die due to frost or extreme conditions during the winter. We always try to replenish those, but we can't get in there and do that just yet, but they look really well, maybe just a little overgrown. The one on my right is your pollinator garden. That's the name of it. The one on your left is called your butterfly garden. Well, butterflies are pollinators. It's not like the butterflies aren't going to travel back and forth. They're just going to go where the best stuff is for them. The only difference is your butterfly garden is specifically planted for host plants and nectar plants to those butterflies that only like certain plants. Some butterflies are host specific and they just want some plants only to lay their eggs on. And when those eggs hatch, that's the only plant that caterpillar will eat. Kind of like the milkweed for the monarch. We have milkweed over here in the corner, goldenrod up here, parsley down here. Caterpillars, I think it's the black swallowtail, love the parsley. I'm surprised it's still here. Probably lots of different butterfly plants in here. And then also here, like I said, they're going to go to both, but some butterflies just like specific host plants. So that's why this is butterfly specific, and this is pollinators galore, your bees, your wasps, your hornets, your butterflies, all those good flying insects do good things for us. And you've got some brown-eyed Susans down there, some purple coneflower over here, and all these little seed pods will draw off, fall down, and then reseed, and hopefully make more beautiful flowers to come back every year. So we've got a bird bath here too. This isn't just for the birds. Insects need water also. So it serves lots of different purposes. But we usually plant those side by side so those insect friends can go back and forth. So usually the sixth graders, I always give them a quiz on at the end of the year to see how much they paid attention through the year. So hopefully we'll get to do that later in the spring. Pollinator garden, butterfly garden. Got it? Okay, kids. I'm standing in what we call your native plant garden. So what that means is if something's native, it means it's supposed to be here. It's been here a long time. It does well in this climate. It likes our seasons. It likes our soils. It likes everything about this ground it's in. So these kind of plants have been here for a very long time, so they're native to this area. These are your oak leaf hydrangeas. I bet several of you have these in your homes. They're beautiful and white, and they're even great to dry. So several oak leaf hydrangeas in the back. In the front here, these will bloom again in the spring. These are Lenten roses, and that's about all we have in the front here. In the back, some old ivy. That is not native. That just came as a bonus when we put the gardens in for you. So, native plant garden. Over here in the corner will go your next state flower. I know you know where it is. It starts with a big capital C. camellia. So we'll put a beautiful camellia bush there to replace the one that is gone. So all your outdoor garden stations here were paid for through grant money from your school that worked hard writing grants to different agencies, and also from lots of donations, local businesses, as well as parents, grandparents, aunts and uncles donated money also. So this is your native plant garden, and we're going to go next right in front of me to your bird sanctuary. All right, guys, this is another garden station. I think I forgot to mention these can all be adopted. That means your class or your grade could adopt one of these stations and take care of it. We have instructions online and in folders to help you know what to do seasonally if you decide to adopt one of the garden stations. This one is called your bird sanctuary. We have some feeders here that need to be filled. We have plenty of bird seed to drop off whenever you guys are ready to start that back up. And we have, of course, the bird fountain for water. So they have water, they have food, they have a dogwood tree, which is only going to get bigger and bigger, and that will provide shelter. When an animal is provided shelter, water, and food, we call that habitat. So that's all about the Alabama Wildlife Federation's purpose for these garden stations, for you to learn and to provide habitat for our local wildlife. So we've got lots of things for the birds here. We've got the trees, we've got the water, the feeders. We've also got some mock orange bushes and some butterfly plants, lots of hosta and some other things for them. So it's a wonderful, beautiful place for you to adopt and take care of. You could even chart lots of things for the birds. So bird sanctuary, write it down. Okay, here we are at one of the all-time favorite learning stations. It's called your sensory garden. I know you remember your 5 senses, and we have everything here to explore your 5 senses: your hearing, your taste, your smell, your sight, your touch, all those great senses. I will mention this, as I do if you're here right in front of me for a class. We don't taste unless one of the instructors tells you to taste something. So you don't want to just ever pick something up out of the garden and taste it, because you could have some serious reactions to that. We don't want that, so we just want good stuff. Here we have rosemary. It's one of our favorite herbs, and when we do this station, when we learn about it, I always encourage you to rub the herbs with your hands and then smell your fingers. So you don't really take anything from the plant except the scent. It has a really great strong scent. All your herbs and spices are used for essential oils, of course. A lot of people are big into that nowadays, but also for medicinal values and even cooking. They're great with rosemary, chicken, potatoes, stuff like that. So there's your rosemary. And then here we have a beautiful, it's called blueberry sundae. This will bloom again in the spring. Right now you can see it's got lots of these seed pods, and inside lots of little blueberry sundae seeds. Beautiful blue flower. And in the middle, we're going to have to trim this back, because in the middle you can't hardly see. Everyone's favorite is the mint. Okay, that's your peppermint. Peppermint, maybe this is spearmint, but you have mint growing in abundance in between all of your blueberry sundae plants. So another one, a great one to smell. Over here on the far end is your other herb. It's called thyme, T-H-Y-M-E. Just like thyme on your watch, just spelled differently. Thyme, it's another herb. It's great for cooking, has medicinal properties, and it's great for your sensory garden. Looks like we might need to replace a little bit. It's getting kind of dried out. This would be a great garden station to adopt to water and to weed. Okay, more blueberry sundae. Here, I don't know if you can see, we've got a little sedum. It's part of the succulent family. I love succulents. They've got the big, thick leaves that hold the water, so that's nice to touch. It's got a different texture to it. It's soft. And in the front, we have lamb's ear. That's another big favorite of everyone, is the lamb's ear. Soft, like a lamb's ear. If you were to pet a lamb's ear, it would be soft, just like the plant. It's been used for ages and ages for lots of things. They used to use it for bandages before we had Band-Aids, so it's a great sensory item. But this is always a favorite. You can see we have a bird feeder here, and it's empty. It needs some bird food, so that will be another part of your job when you adopted the station. So sign it up. Let's do it. All right, guys and girls, this is another of my favorites and yours, because this is where all the action comes in when we start to plant. We clean out, we We aerate the soil sometimes, and then we harvest. So we've got 4 raised garden beds here. This one was planted probably let's see, we left in March, so yeah, probably sometime not long after that we had some parent volunteers and some Agriplex employees come over here after hours and plant beautiful flowers for your pollinator friends. So besides your butterfly and your pollinator gardens, you have this wonderful raised garden bed here full of flowers, and they're beautiful. We've got some nasturtium, that's one of my favorite. These are actually edible. You can eat the leaves and the flowers. They're beautiful. They come in lots of deep oranges and reds and yellows. And then I'm not sure what this one's called, but the butterflies love it. The bees love it. And everything they do is good for the humankind. If they pollinate, then we'll have lots of good food. So I love to have flowers in amongst our food source. So this is a good one because it's next to all the other ones that we have growing vegetables. Okay, we've got over here, we have tomatoes still. We've got, this is another herb, basil. Ooh, that smells good. You like to put your basil with your tomatoes and your peppers. They ward off insects because a lot of the bad pesky insects do not like the smell of basil. We've got basil, tomatoes, and on the far end, you've got some big, tall okra plants. And they are still producing. I can see some pods on there. We wanted to, we could snip those off and have some fried okra, some baked okra this evening. I like okra in my gumbo. I like it fried in the pan. Okra's just good. If you've never had it, you need to try it because you're growing it out here in your outdoor classroom. So, lots of vegetables over here. Over here, I don't know if you've ever seen this. This was new to me also. This is a white eggplant. Looks like maybe a miniature variety or either just didn't get more water. So we've got eggplant over here, some of these little tomatoes, and yes, they're supposed to be this small. It's just a small variety. So lots of those would be great on your salads. So tomatoes, eggplant, and your other one over here looks like some older peppers, still could be picked, and what's left of a dying tomato plant. All these will need to be cleaned out very soon, and if they could be adopted, if that is an option for your classes, that'd be a great idea. One class could have one bed, another one another, come out here at different times, and we've got plenty of seeds and plants ready for you at the Agriplex to plug right in. So, you let us know if you want to do that. If your class is interested in adopting one or more of these garden beds to plant fall vegetables, we're on it. Here we are at your compost bin. A lot of you know what that is and some of you don't, but it's just this big plastic container, and they can come in different sizes. They don't even have to have a lid. There are lots of different types of compost bins. But the idea is to put your old produce in there. Anything from your garden you don't use, you put it in small pieces, throw it in there, and you like to layer it. Green material with brown material. Green material will be your grass clippings. Brown material will be some dead leaves. So you kind of get the idea. You want to mix your carbon-based products with your nitrogen-rich products. So kind of layer those. And they also need moisture. So you can see there are holes around the side to get air and a little bit of moisture in there. And all that, along with our friends you can't see because I'm not going to stick my hand in there, your decomposer friends, our bugs that live on the bottom and inside this compost pile. They help break it down. So it's interesting to see if you have a good layer of each, your greens and your browns, a little bit of moisture, and of course it's going to get hot in there, then it will go down. If you were to monitor this over months, you would see how your decomposers are working hard. It's breaking that stuff down. And then you see on the bottom, a little trap door down here. You can open that. There you go. And you can get your already ready compost. And you put that back into your garden bed because that compost that's done, now this is not done, it still needs to decompose. So that's just been added recently. You can tell the leaves are still whole and brown and crispy, but over time, with your decomposers and your greens in there with it, that compost is going to be like rich, nutritious amendment to your soil. Put it right back in there, and it'll be the best thing for it. It's all organic. It came from the ground, and it's going back into your ground. It's the best thing for those raised beds for the soil. So that's why we have that out here. Waste not, want not. Love compost. Okay. Here is one of your 2 rain barrels, okay? We collect rainwater. As you can see, it's connected with the gutter system to your roof. It comes off the roof. There is a screen. I'm a shorty, so I can't show you that, but there's a screen on top, so we don't get the big particles in there that will clog it up. big feathers, leaves, things like that. And you can tell by me pushing on that, that baby is full. It is tight with rainwater, which is good. We use the rainwater. It's got a little spigot on there, easy to use. We'll use this to water your gardens. You also have a hose, but this conserves your water. You're not paying for any of this. You get it free right out of the sky. So you've got 2 of these babies. Now, if you're out here hot and we're working, I've seen it happen. I've seen little Johnny come over here, and he's taking a sip out of there. That's not so good. That's not a good idea, little Johnny, because I know a lot of you know this, but I'd explain this if we were here together. You don't want to drink this water because even though it has a screen to filter, it doesn't filter out those microscopic organisms that could give you a bad tummy ache. So you don't want to have any water that hasn't been filtered, especially this rainwater, because even though it filters out the big stuff, there could still be a little bit of bird poop in there or insect leg here and there. So that's why we just use it for our plants. But it's a great way to conserve water. And you have 2 of them. And lots of these little pitchers in your big storage bins under that pavilion when we have classes. So I hope to see you soon. And in the meantime, good luck this year, guys. We miss you.